Welcome back. It's another edition of Burnout Bets as we are ready for today's IndyCar race from Barber Motorsports Park. I am Tony. That is Mike at Indy_bet. DraftKings, Bovada, looks like other sportsbook, not including FanDuel because they don't have any kind of IndyCar odds. I don't even think they know that there's an IndyCar race this weekend. But we're going to dive into some of the odds for today's race after qualifying and final practice sessions on Saturday. Green flag today just after 1 o'clock Eastern time. Rinus VeeKay will start from the pole, his second career pole position. He was fast in practice yesterday. Backed that up with a pole effort in that Fast 6 qualifying. Mike, let's bring you in here. This top of the board here. Rinus, Pato Award at plus 450. Alex Palou plus 550. Joseph Newgarden plus 800. Colton Herta plus 900, as well as Scott McLaughlin. Then Grosjean at plus 1100. Let's start with the top of the board here, Mike. What sticks out to you? Where are you putting some money on?
Yeah, so thanks, Tony, man. I'm excited for race day. Qualifying did not go as planned. Obviously, for me and my pre-qualifying bets, willpower, my 10-1 willpower ticket does not look as good when he's sitting there at 28, and he struggled in qualifying. The fact that those guys didn't get, the Penske crew at least, didn't get to test and play with these new tires a little bit, obviously came through in qualifying. So looking at the top of the board, you actually got some pretty high numbers. A pole sitter at 4-1 is really not too bad. If that was a Newgarden or a Herta, or Dixon sitting on that pole, you'd probably be looking at 2 to 3-1. So, if you wanted to throw a little bit of money on VeeKay at 4-1, that is some decent value, given he doesn't have the name value. But for me, you mentioned Palou on our pre-qualifying bet, sitting right there, 550. He was only about 6-1, 7-1 beforehand. So I do like Palou. I wouldn't mind that. And I also like Newgarden at 8-1. I think that's a pretty good number for a guy we know can charge through the field. So, for me, though, most of my bets, most of my money is going to be spent on the matchups in the top threes. But if I was looking for an outright bet and I wanted to throw a couple bucks on somebody to win, I'd stick to the top of that board. Probably wouldn't go any higher than Rossi at 14.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think a little bit of a flyer on Rinus VeeKay at 4-1. A guy who has proven that he can win on a road course. He won at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway almost a year ago. We'll see if he can back his pole effort from Saturday up today. Joseph Newgarden, I mean, you have at 8-1. I think that's pretty good value, depending on how much you want to spend on that. But 10 to win 80 right there is something that, like you said, Mike, that he's probably going to be there as long as he survives any melee that happens on lap 1, which last year he caused that melee. But yeah, I think Newgarden has great value at 8-1. Rossi has been quick. He had that accident in practice yesterday. He still is going to start from the 5th position, which is pretty impressive. I know you don't want to go any lower than that at 14-1 for Rossi, but I do think that's worth a few dollars as well because he's a hungry driver, Mike, as you and I have pointed out here over the last couple of weeks here on the Burnout Bet Show. A lot of different books have odds, mostly just to win odds. We're looking at Bovada right now. I know DraftKings has some, as well as Barstool Sports. If we could scroll down here a little bit, let's look at some of these head-to-head matchups where, Mike, I know is where you like to place a lot of your bets. Let's start with the first matchup, minus 115 on both sides, Colton Herta or Romain Grosjean. I'm going to go Grosjean here. I like him a little bit better than Herta because Herta seems to overpush, and something has always gone wrong for him in the first 3 starts. Grosjean, however, has been pretty consistent, pretty solid. I expect Grosjean to finish inside of the top 7 today.
Yeah, a little bit of not much of a gap there. Grosjean starting 8, Herta starting 10th. Herta's been fast all year, so nothing on this one jumps out to me. But I'd be with I'd probably lean the Herta end of this one.
Then we go to teammates. The 2 teammates that have won the 3 races so far this year. Newgarden has 2 wins. McLaughlin has 1. Both minus 115. Again, there's really no plus sides to most of these matchups that we see. But are you leaning one way or the other as far as McLaughlin and Newgarden? McLaughlin rolling off 4th. Newgarden will start from the 7th position.
Yeah, so this is one that I'm probably going to have on my betting card that I like a lot. Give me Newgarden. McLaughlin struggled. He's been fast this year, but he did struggle on this track during race pace and race conditions last year. You're going to give me a Newgarden at pretty much, obviously it's minus 115, so not even money, but put me down for Joseph.
Green flag today for the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama comes up just after 1 o'clock. Burnout Sports, Burnout Bets at Indy_bet is where you can find Mike at Tony D Indy. As we continue on here, Mike, a front row battle, right? So if you're going to do a head-to-head, why not put the two young guns starting up front in a head-to-head matchup? Pato Award at -110, the pole sitter Renus VK at -120. This to me is a stay away. Both drivers have proven that they have pace, but haven't been able to finish up towards the front. This, to me, as much as I want to see Renus VK or even Pato Award win today, this front row matchup, the head-to-head, is something I'm going to stay away from.
Yeah, this one kind of jumped out at me as well. Usually you don't get the pole sitter, having that much of a spread or having a larger spread. You're going to look at -150, -160 versus anybody else in the field, even the guy starting second. So I do like VK over Award. I'll eat the -120 juice on that over just based on kind of past performance, VK's history at the track. He was a guy, VK, that I was looking at pre-qualifying. I had my eyes on. Prior, didn't pull the trigger there. A little bit of regret on that. But give me VK over Award here.
Graham Rahal and Marcus Ericsson, both -115, two very consistent drivers. Marcus rolls off 12th, Graham rolls off 9th. Both drivers had pretty good runs here. With this, for me, though, I think you're looking at, okay, am I really going to want to pay attention towards the end of the race, Mike, for a battle for maybe 8th place, or Graham's running 10th and Ericsson's running 14th. So another stay away from me here. But I do like this with Bovada, an interesting matchup here, because you've got Mr. Consistent and Marcus Ericsson, who's been so good on road and street courses, and Graham Rahal, who, as he told me a few weeks ago, is a top 3 driver in the sport. You could take your opinion on that if you'd like. But Rahal has had some pretty good pace and good runs at Barber.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I think in years past I would have jumped all over Rahal over Ericsson. Obviously, between our conversations and others, Ericsson's been very impressive, and he's a guy that I'm a little bit afraid of. So I'll probably think about this one. I'll tweet it out if I do decide to pull the trigger on Rahal over Ericsson. That'd be the way I lean. Looking at Rahal, he's got some good history at this track, but Ericsson keeps proving people wrong. He's got a lot of disrespect in the betting market, but he's here pretty much even odds against Rahal.
One more matchup before we get to the top 3 real quick here, Mike. Rossi versus Dixon. This is really interesting because Dixon is always in contention for a podium. He did not have a good qualifying effort yesterday. He will roll off from the 13th position today. Rossi had a banger yesterday of a lap to get inside of the top 6. Ends up qualifying 5th after a wreck in practice. Rossi versus Dixon. Rossi, the slight favorite here at -120. Your thoughts on Mr. Hungry against the guy that we know can stretch that fuel mileage out in Dixon and find himself up towards the front?
Yeah, man, you said it. This one is interesting. This one scares me. If you're playing basically the game of the grid positions, Rossi's got a huge advantage on Dixon, especially for somebody that's not even just a slight favorite over him. So, man, my heart says, Dixon is a guy who I always love to bet on this track, top 3. This is a stay away from me. I'll watch this one just for entertainment, but probably no bet.
All right, winning manufacturer, as we see there, and top 3 finishers. Let's get to the winning manufacturer. Even money on a Honda. Obviously, the Chevy's up towards the front, but you still have Alex Palou in that camp as well. Alexander Rossi as a Honda driver. It looks like Chevy is the favorite. That kind of puts you with Renus VK, Pato Award, the Penske drivers, and such. Top 3 finishes. The pole sitter, Renus VK, is at +115. Pato Award, who starts second, is at +125. Palou at +145. That's definitely a pick for me, is Palou to finish on the podium, as well as Joseph Newgarden at +225. Where are you throwing some cheese around today, Mike, on those top 3 finishers?
Yep, looks like we're going to roll together this week. Palou +145 will be on the betting card for sure to finish at a podium. He's got the history. He's qualified well. He's up top. Getting almost 1.5 times on your money on that looks good. Same with Newgarden, like that at 225. I still Dixon, like, that guy finds a way. If this turns into a fuel mileage race, He always finds his way to the podium. He's done it even from the back of the pack, which most guys cannot do. 4-1. I might add a little bit. I do already have some Dixon top 3 bets. Not as good of a number, unfortunately. Got it before the qualifying, his qualifying efforts. So I still may sprinkle a little bit more onto that. But yeah, I'll probably make a stand between Palou Newgarden, and then maybe, like I said, if I am going to take VK in the matchup over O'Ward, it just makes sense. You can actually, kind of get that plus money there just on his top 3. So I'll probably split the matchup bet and the top 3 bet on VK.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think VK will have a really good chance at not only a win, but certainly a podium today. Scott Dixon at 4-1. Palou and Joseph Newgarden are also some spots. And I mentioned this yesterday on Twitter, the little team that could, very impressive so far, Juncos Hollinger Racing. I'm going to put a couple dollars on Column Ilott to finish on that podium. What a story that would be. This is the only one-car effort in the NTT IndyCar Series. Ilott has shown a lot of speed. He did last year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, which is probably, in comparison, the most likely like Barber. They're very similar with sweeping fast turns. So why not? That'd be fun. $2 or $3, $5 at a 10-1, which, I mean, I thought it still would be a little bit higher than that, even though he is 11-1. So, all right, the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama comes up later on today, just after 1 o'clock, the green flag on NBC. Don't forget to follow Burnout Sports at Burnout Bets, at Indy_bet is where you can find Mike. At Tony D Indy is where you can find me. We will have you updated throughout the race today and throughout the month of May. It is May 1st. So enjoy the race today as Rinus VK and Pato O'Ward roll off as the 2 favorites, the front row starters. For Jared Sparkman and Mike at Indy_bet, I'm Tony D. Enjoy the race today, and don't forget, follow us on all of our social media channels.